streamline this. Okay. So let's UV this table, right? So we have all the legs together and we have this. So if we want to UV our objects in separate groups because we labeled our groups, let's do that. So I'll right click, UV unwrap, right? And I'll click on this and I'll bring it right here, UV unwrap. So I'll show you the way we can do it with all the objects at once, and then the one where we utilize our groups. So right now we have UV unwrap, which has the scale, which is the space in between. So if we take this and we can get smaller space in between our objects, making our UV quick. And if we want to look at our textile density, we can see what it is, right? So if we move this, we can see larger, and you know, larger squares equal lower resolution. So cool. Then we do right click, UV layout, and then we'll just bring this here and we'll click on this, and you only change 3 settings. Click on this, go island position in 3D, go to fixed, and then we go to UDIM tiles, right? Now what you're going to do is you're going to go to this fixed, and you're just going to keep scaling until polygons appear on the bottom. So basically you want it to be as large as possible. So let me go right here, I'll show you. So this is, you can see what it looks like in a UV grid, but when we make them larger, you see those squares get smaller. See, now they're real small, but it's we don't want them to go below this line. So you're gonna just use this ladder or your controls right here and push them below the line. And then we just use these fine controls to try to get as much in here as we can, which it looks like that, right? Then you right click, null. And then you go out. So you're out table UV. So now what we have is we have our entire table UV. If we go to this UV quick shade and we look at it, our legs are UV and then our tabletop is UV. So that's the way to UV one whole object at once, and still has the 2 groups, right? But let's say we want to have a little bit more control. We can do it like this. Let me now just delete that, right? So this is our out table UV. Let's do whole. Ooh. Man, spelling. All right, so we're gonna do it in groups now. So I'll right click, UV unwrap, and then I'll select this and I'll go here and then I'll go to the group and I'll do the table wood group first, right? So now I have this right here, which if I go to UV quick shade, we can go over here and look at this and we can see it's the table wood group, right? So it's the same thing as before. The spacing is large. So let's make it smaller. Cool, right? Made it smaller. And it's even smaller because the legs aren't there. Remember? Because when the legs are there, they take up space in the UV, which makes these have to be smaller. All right. So then we go right click, UV layout, which is exactly what we did with the other side, right? So we go to UV layout, and remember, change the 3 properties, which are by island position in 3D, just to get this straighter if you want to, or more linear. So if I go like that, you see what's happening. Let me click on this. And then we go to fixed. So we get this number, and then we go to UDIM tiles. So we get the multiple tiles. Now, if I take this and I scale it, I'm going to scale it as much as I can. So now, so this is strong, right? So let me go to the finest scale down here, or finer scale. So now look what I've done. I've stretched it out across 3 tabs. And we see the density, which is let's compare it to the density over here. Eh, kind of the same. Anyway, we're just using this. We have more control, right? So cool. We have this. So we're we laid out these UVs and everything is looking pretty good. Now we need to do the legs, right? So I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna go UV unwrap, or I could copy this one, and then just switch the group, so you could do it like that too, but sometimes you can make a fresh node if it, you know, I mean, it's basically, there's no wrong way to do it. You just have to set it all up right. So right now, let me go over here and we see the legs. So let me click on this. Now let's choose the leg group. Legs, bang. So now we're unwrapping the legs. As we can see right here, it's just the legs. Now let's shrink the space in between. And sometimes this could just stop right here. It's basically just what you think it should be. And for this, I'm fine because these so much like space in here, it's gonna all fill in. Right click, go to UV layout. Click right here. Let's look at the quick shade to see what it's doing. And we see this. Now, right now, these aren't linear. So if I click on this, it's giving me like the linear stuff. So sometimes this can be okay. It just depends. We're gonna try out both of these. So right now I'm gonna go to fixed, and then I'm gonna go to UDIM tiles. All right. And now I'm gonna drag this slider. Keep on going. Oh, now look, boom. All right. So I did this. I'm gonna use my small increment ladder. Remember, once it goes under, it's bad, even a tiny piece. But this is good now. Now look at this. Look how big we got this to be. When if we go into this one, oh no, I'm sorry. If we go into this one, you see how big the maximum size is? So we're getting more action out of this. Now let me just see one thing. If I turn off this, okay. So yeah, it's cool, right? And now we just right click, we do merge. Oh, no, sorry. One thing to do, right? Because this is the table legs group. And if we do a merge, let's look at what happens, right? These are overlapping with these. So what we would do is we would go to this stream, right click, UV transform. And then we just raise this by one level. So now we have our table top, and then we have our table legs. And it's okay. We could have another group, another group, another group, another group. We're just doing this with two different pieces of geometry. So that's why it looks like that. So now if I select this, right click, and yeah, I'm done basically. Now you have this out UV table. So this is now with groups. If I middle mouse button click, we have our two groups and everything's labeled. So let's look at what the difference is, right? Oh, and then we can go down here, click on this. Yeah, so we have basically I don't know why it's only showing that. UV layout. See, it should be showing both things. That's what's odd, because you see it here, but if I click on the UV quick shade, can't see the other one. Let me try this just to see if this works. If I just select this and I turn the group to the wood group, I'll select this, I'm gonna turn it to the legs group, just like this. I'm gonna turn it to the legs group. Would it update then? Nope, it still doesn't. That's odd. I just would have figured that it would have shown both when merged, which is odd to me. Anyway, let's right click on this and let's do a save geometry. And what I'm going to save it as is something called an alembic. So let me go to my folder. All right, so I have this right here. I'm just going to name this picnic table UV to sub. And then I'm going to do .abc, right? I'm going to click on accept and accept. So now this should be saved in whatever location I just saved it to right here, which is this. All right. So now I'm going to open up Substance.